Hello everybody, it is still Sunday, the 22nd of October, and something has just occurred to me, and that is that what is rising here as the new world order is actually a cabal of the one-eyed people. I mean, those, yeah? And what does that actually mean? It means it is a cabal of people that are driven on just one energy. As I said in my video before, they are driven on one energy and they have one intention, and that energy will serve them, and they can see nothing else. They are no longer multi-dimensional beings, but they have become a oneness. They're either driven on greed, or they can be driven on lust. While there's psychopathic, and they're all psychopaths, in that they are no longer the fullness of a human being. The psychopathic need to be in control of everything is actually grown out of fear, I would say. So the root of that is fear, so they're driven on fear. And really they have tunnel vision, and they are less than human. Now the thing is, once you get into a state like that, and make it a permanent state, that's all you're driven on, that's all you can think, then you can actually no longer function in a diverse setting. That's why a psychopath is actually not functioning inside of society. But somehow, and this is spooky, somehow they have created a system that works. The system of the one-eyed, where everything not only fulfills a function, but they're actually giving and receiving of one another. Where something like Jeffrey Epstein was driven purely on lust and really cannot function in any other way. Can be in service of something that wants to have control over everything and wants information and to have control over everything. And they are being financed by those that are operating purely on greed. It is a cabal of the one-eyed. Now the thing is, as I said, if you are in that state, you cannot function in a multidimensional setting, in a diverse setting. So something has to control that. Something has to be multifunctional and have a hold of what's happening, and it needs to use these people and tell them where to go and what to do, and they are following orders. Because that is the only way this can work. So you need something on the top that will control the whole thing, and they will need to be in a state where they will take orders. Yeah? Now, Jesus was the epitome of a one-eyed person, driven on only one energy. Yeah? And in the story, he was moved by it to start with. He was overcome by it. It became all inside of him. And then if that story is true, if that was actually done, then after the resurrection, he had become that being. What was resurrected there was no longer a human being, but it was a real being. It had become a reality. Now, again, in the story, Jesus took that knowledge himself, because he was the knowledge, he had become the embodiment of the knowledge, and brought it to a kingdom that is not of this world. And again, that kingdom is the desire to have dominion over this world, to rule over it. And it will use the knowledge in a way that will serve it. Yeah? So then the way to use that knowledge that will serve something to have dominion is to create these one-eyed people that you can have dominion over. And let them do your works in this world, whilst you are directing them, and they are no longer the fullness of a human being or have the capacity to decide right or wrong according to a human being. They can only see right or wrong according to their own energy, according to greed. If I get a lot, it's right. If I don't get it, it's wrong. Lust, you know. If I get a lot of sex, that's good. If I get no sex, it's bad. You see, that's the only way they can see good and bad, and that other thing sees good and bad. If I can use them to get dominion, that's good. And what it is moving, the people that it is moving can no longer decide for themselves what is good or bad. And it is a very knowledge that Jesus brought into the world that is being used to create the new world order. And listen, transhumanism has got nothing to do with technology. This is being worked on a spiritual level. This is spiritual. Now, for us, how do we work it correctly? Because good and bad comes into being in the way that you use the knowledge. So what do we do with that? So for starters, it's always said, knowledge is given to serve. It should be our servant. That means it should not rule over it. We should not make it our Lord, and we sure as hell should not become it. That's going wrong on speed. So how would this knowledge serve us? If you say that you are a multidimensional being, mean that there's many aspects to you, and you can receive information during the day from all different angles, yeah? And that is probably something you're not aware of, because it's spirit, yeah? It's energy, you cannot see it. And every now and again, whilst you're pottering around in your multidimensional state, not being focused on anything, well, maybe on what you're doing at the time, but nothing in particular otherwise, every now and then a messenger comes to draw your attention to something. And those are the angels, and those are the feelings that come. First of all, intuitive, there's something wrong. And it could be fear, which would point to danger somewhere. Yeah, or it could be compassion, or, pointing to something is suffering. Or simply receiving of others around us, receiving their pain, receiving their, which should then create compassion in us. So we're getting these impulses of the angels, the messages that the messengers that we receive from around us in a multidimensional state. And then sometimes an impulse or a message becomes so strong that it draws our attention to a point. And here's David Icke's point of attention. You're becoming a point of attention. And then if it is really bad, there needs to be something done about it. You come to the knowledge of ask, pray, know that you have received. And then it is not you, or it is only partly you, that is creating the change. You are that which asks for a change, and you are being given. The change is being given out of the all. So then, see, Jesus said you cannot serve two masters. First of all, none of those things are our master. They are our servant. They were given to us to serve us. The knowledge of it, that of what we are, of what we can do, is being given to serve us in life. So, and then he says the broad way, which is, the multidimensional state. He says that will lead to destruction. You need to focus. You need to become the one-eyed. Only when it serves us. That's what I would say. If that knowledge was given to serve, we should be that when it serves us to be that. We're not supposed to become that. So there are times where it will serve us to become a point of attention. And as I said, we will be alerted to that by the angels. Become that point of attention and then use the knowledge that was given that says ask. And then every part of us will be in service to us if we use it correctly, and when we do not elevate one part to become all, or it is the one thing that we must be. We must be all of those things and use them at the right time in the right manner. And then we are the masters. We have an understanding of ourselves and we are the masters of ourselves, which is what we should be. But I really think when you think about it like that, it's really eerie. It is a cabal of one-eyed people in this world that are driven on only one energy, and something is directing them. And it is exactly that knowledge that we can be that we can enter into that state. That is being used. That knowledge is being used. And it is obviously those that are the one-eyed bringing in the new world order of the rulership of one or the very few. So it is the knowledge that Jesus brought into this world is actually used by them in a way that serves them. And it can be used by us in a way that serves us. They're doing it. We're being told you're nothing and you can do nothing. And God is love and it's all one thing, and Jesus will come to save you. Well, sit there and in that daze of not knowing anything. Anyway, I leave it at that for today, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.